Boris Johnson's position as the British Prime Minister is looking increasingly uncertain as new evidence emerges appearing to show him breaking COVID protocols. Sky News understands pictures of Downing Street parties, which include the PM and guests with wine bottles, have been handed to an independent investigator. Metropolitan Police, meantime, also announced it's looking into several events held during a nationwide lockdown.
Mr Mogg, was it right to have a birthday gathering in Downing Street?
Cabinet arrive for their weekly audience, where they ought to hear what matters to this government in the days ahead.
I've not been invited to any party.
Right now, that's the least of the problems facing the Chief Whip and his colleagues. But in here, the PM didn't tell them the news.
Are you embarrassed that the government is being investigated by the police?
So leaving Downing Street, these cabinet ministers were amongst the last to find out that Britain's most senior police officer had just said this.
The Met is now investigating a number of events that took place at Downing Street and Whitehall in the last 2 years in relation to potential breaches of COVID-19 regulations.
She made clear the fact this involves Boris Johnson was critical.
There was evidence that those involved knew or ought to have known that what they were doing was an offence.
This is what a blindsided cabinet looks like.
Don't you think it's embarrassing that the government is being investigated by the Met Police for having Downing Street parties?
Watch these cabinet members as they try to find a car to take them the short distances back to their government departments, simply to avoid the cameras. They know they're ill-prepared to talk about the story that will dominate government for weeks to come.
Do you think the Prime Minister can survive a police investigation?
This man is one of Boris Johnson's chief parliamentary aides. He's got to find some kind of favourable spin to placate Tory MPs.
Was the matter discussed in Cabinet, Mr Griffiths?
Not commenting on anything to do with that today.
Well, even those around the top table were trying to find a form of words to respond.
I think it's absolutely right. The Met will do their job.
Can you survive the police investigation, Boris
But with
Johnson?
Russia poised for a possible invasion of Ukraine, the Prime Minister was forced to head to the Commons today, where the opposition were on the offensive.
Potential criminality has been found in Downing Street. What a truly damning reflection on our nation's very highest office.
Still plenty of Tories lining up to defend him.
10 minutes of eating cake and wishing someone a happy birthday would not a party make, but it is a matter for police investigation.
Can we please have a sense of proportion over the Prime Minister being given a piece of cake in his own office?
Boris Johnson even suggested to the Commons a police investigation that clears him would be helpful.
I welcome the Met's decision to conduct its own investigation because I believe this will help to give the public the clarity it needs and help to draw a line under matters.
But it's so hard to refocus when revelations come at this speed and scale. Sky News understands that officials have handed photographic evidence to Sue Gray showing parties in Downing Street, allegedly pictures of the Prime Minister, bottles of wine, people close together. Yet more revelries that will take time and energy to explain away.
But what if Boris Johnson leaves office?
The government will continue in all eventualities, continuously in a stable way, but I think you're getting ahead of yourself. We'll wait for the outcome of the inquiries.
Have you broken the law, Prime Minister?
Questions about this man's future coming to a head. Indications the Sue Gray inquiry could be imminent. How long will this be home?
Tune in to Sky News tonight from 11 p.m. We'll have complete coverage of Boris Johnson facing another awkward Prime Minister's questions in the House of Commons as the pressure clearly continues over the Partygate scandal. That's 11 p.m.